Welcome back, guys. In this video, we're going to be talking about arrays, right? I know arrays are pretty famous, I would say, in any programming language. So in this one, we're going to talk about Java arrays. So that said, let's close this thing out. Let me just create a new package, new class, and I can say arrays. Yeah, I can just say that arrays. That's fine. So, okay, cool. So what is an array, right? Array are basically used to store multiple values in a single variable. So instead of declaring a separate variable for each value, you can just use square brackets to define multiple of them. Now, how do we write this thing, right? So let's go ahead and start writing. So we can create, string, integers, whatever we want. Let's say we say string, and then we have to say square brackets. So this thing right here is called square brackets. Okay. And then let's say I can say, it's just a variable, so I can declare it as whatever names I want. Let's say I say cars, right? And I can do it both ways. I can leave it empty. Oops. I can just leave it like that, right? Or I can also declare it right away. It's whatever we want. So if I was to declare it right away, what I would be doing, then I would put the curly braces in here, right? And then obviously ended. So inside this curly braces, what are we going to be doing? Because it's a string, we said it's a string right here, right? Or we can say names, it doesn't matter. Let's say we say names. So in this case, what do we have to do is, let's say and again, because it's a string, we have to put double quotes. Let's say we say John, right? And then we say Jane. Make sure you have a comma in there. That's how you're going to separate it out, right? John, Jane, Joe, and then let's say Mike. Whatever. It's doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Let's have these 4 names over here, right? If I want to create integers, I can do the same thing. I can just say int, right? Again, square brackets. And over here, we can say, I don't know, my int or something. Again, you do the same thing over here, but because it's an integer, we don't have to put double quotes. And I can say 1, 3, 6, 7, 10, whatever I want, doesn't matter. And then put the semicolon to end it. How do I access this thing, right? Obviously, that's a good question. Like, how do I actually print this out, or how do I get access to this, right? If I was to, let's say, if I was to put s out, right, and I just put names, right? Now, what do you think that would print out? Let's try. Let's try. Right? It just gives me this, like, what the hell is that, right? In this names, now instead of not saying anything, but let's say I actually put something in there. Now let's try to run this thing again. See, it gives me that John. So we cannot just without this. So that's for that's to access an index, right? So all of this, so in programming, this thing in programming, everything it starts with 0, right? So this is the 0 value, this is the 1 value, this is the 2 value, this is the 3 value. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, if I didn't have this index, if I didn't put that thing, the index number, obviously I cannot put anything, right? I cannot print out. So think of it this the little hint. When you have string and then you have this array, right? This square brackets. If you want to access it, you also have to access them with the square brackets. So if I put 2 over here, as I just said, it starts with 0. right? So 0, 1, 2. I'm expecting this to be Joe right now. So if I was to run it, see, this thing is Joe. Same thing if I was to print out from the integer, right? My int, again, if I didn't put anything in here, this will give me, this will not really give me any result, right? Just like, I have no idea what that is. Now, if I put the square brackets, and again, if I say 0, 0, again, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 0 through 4 right here. So 0 value is 1. So in this case, if I was to run this, see, it said Joe, and then it says 1. So yeah, so that's basically that. Now, what if I want to change an array element, right? I don't want this John to be John anymore. I want that to be Jake. It doesn't matter, like whatever I want to do, right? If I wanted to do that, right? So what I can do over here, right? What I can do over here, I can say, let's say names, right? And then obviously put the square brackets equal something, right? Okay. Now, whatever value I want to change. So let's say I want to change this first value, John, right? So first value, again, it's 0. It starts with a 0. So I have this 0 over here. That's the field. Let's say I want to change John to Craig, right? I want to change the name John to Craig. Now, did that actually work? I don't know. Let's see, right? If we print it out, right? Just like we did before. So on this first statement, it will show me that this is John, Jane, Joe, and Mike, right? And it will print out the second value, which is Joe, which we have over here, Joe. In this one, since we changed this value, John to Craig, so let's say I say names, right? And then square brackets. So I want to print out this 0 value, this first index over here. So what I'm expecting this John, it should be Joe. So run as, I'm sorry, Joe, as it'll be Craig right there, because the 0 value, John would change to that. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense to you guys. Yeah, I hope that makes sense to you guys. And same thing, if I want to change any of the other things, obviously I can do it the same way. I will leave it at that for arrays for this one. On the next lecture, we're going to go into a little bit more in-depth, but this is just the initial starting point as far as how arrays work. So just keep in mind, we have to say string or int or whatever we're going to say, and then have the square brackets, and then we need this curly braces. Okay, we need this curly braces. And if we want to print out the result, we need that variable name plus the square brackets that we want to change it to. So if I was to change this to 2 and change this to 2 as well, this Joe would become Craig now. Okay, right there. Joe become Craig. Cool, that's it for this video, guys. If you do have any questions, please do comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.